Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of In the Mind of Dame. It is that boy Dame back to you guys again with another episode. We back, baby. Episode 10. Episode 10. Oh, man. Who would have thought, bro? Who would have thought? I thought we was going to make it to episode 10. I don't know if anybody else out there thought we did, but shit. That's 10 weeks. 10 weeks of episodes, 10 weeks of topics, 10 week of reps. You know, these are valuable reps, bro. Like, I seen a little quote the other day. It said confidence, the way to build confidence is through action. Like, that's the best way to get the confidence up, feel more good about yourself rather than sitting there prepping and preparing. You know what I'm saying? So it feels good to have 10 weeks of action and actually put these things out for other people to listen to. You know, some of y'all hit me up and tell me that y'all really bang with the show. So, hey, you know, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going up, and I do it for y'all. And it's fun to do. You know what I'm saying? So we getting the shots up in the gym. You know what I'm saying? This shot 500. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try to keep going up, bro. But hope everybody had a good week. Hopefully the snow and that ice ain't doing you too crazy, bro. That joint is fucking niggas up, bro. like shoveling snow, bro. Like, I don't care how much you in that gym, bro. That snow, bro, it feel like it just tear your back up. Like, I ain't even finna lie. And this ice, bro, I done heard everybody busting their ass due to this ice, bro. So be careful out there on that ice, bro, because I stepped on that joint, bro. I'm telling you, it's like an ice skating rink out that bitch, yo. It is bad how bad that ice is out there. I don't even be wanting to go to work. I don't even want to be on to work because I'm like, it's still out there, yo. It's bad. It's bad. But, man, that snowstorm, well, quick little weekend recap. As you all know, we had that snowstorm, quote unquote, that was going to come through and run through this joint. And honestly, the snow itself isn't bad, bro. It's just that damn ice. But, you know, all the preparation that went into that, bro, you know, going to the grocery store and buying all that stuff. I don't know why people panic by the way that they do, bro. Like, they say you probably going to be trapped in the crib maybe 2 days, maybe 3. Niggas will buy shit at such an alarming rate. You would think they said the world is about to end and make sure you got enough food for your bunker. Like, niggas bought everything, bro. I got off work. Mom was like, hey, yo, like, you know, you trying to pick up a couple of things before you come home from work so that we straight. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Get the list. Bruh, let me remind you, y'all know where I work at, bro. I work at Walmart, bro. I'm looking around the store, bro. I'm like, yo, everything on this list is out of stock, my nigga. Like, goddamn, where's the milk? Like, bro, we ran out of milk, bro. I wanted to get some OJ, bro. They had one carton left, bro. Or like maybe a handful, but just like one brand of orange juice, bro. So I had to go to the grocery store right across the street. And prices was higher, but they had most of the shit I needed, bro. So that was cool, preparing for that. Then Saturday, what did I do? So Saturday, boom, hung out with my dukes, and then we was in the crib, and then we was like, screw it, it ain't start snowing yet. So, you know, I was, so then we went bowling or whatever. Bruh, I got a 213, bruh. I haven't had a 200 in bowling in 10 years, bro. Dead ass, 10 years. I have not had a 200 in bowling. So clap it up for your boy, bro. That's amazing, bro. If you don't bowl for real, you don't know how difficult it is to get a 200. 200 means you gotta lock the fuck in. You know what I'm saying? That's a good amount of strikes in a row. You can't really leave a frame open. Like, I gotta either get a strike or a spare on each frame. And most of the time to get a 200, you're gonna have to probably get like 3 strikes in a row, 4 strikes in a row. So it felt good to get a 200, man. That was just a nice little thing to get. You know, NFC, AFC Conference Championship game. We're going to get into it. Then Steelers hiring Mike McCarthy. Oh, we're going to get into that too. What else I do, man? I bought a new book. Since we was going to be trapped inside, I said, you know, I want to keep up with my reading. So I had bought a new book. It's called The Psychology of Money. I think this book is really dope if you need a book recommendation. It's basically a book about a man basically giving us like 20 life lessons about how we think about money and how we decide what we finna do with money, like how we spend it, how we choose to save. And it's like really good life lessons in it, just about how we think about money and how we can use now that we kind of are aware of how we think about it, how we decide what we do with our money, taking better steps to managing it. So I ain't gonna lie, I've been trying to utilize most of what I heard in the book. It's a good read, man. It's a really good read. I definitely would recommend, especially if you're somebody out there that's trying to get better with managing your money. Yeah, definitely recommended. And then I finished Stranger Things. Um, I'll save my thoughts on it. Like maybe I'll leave a poll up if you guys want to like a full review on Stranger Things. But I don't have no crazy comments. I do like the way that the fifth season was. I thought it was good. I know a lot of people had like complaints about the season. I really didn't complain about too much. I thought it was pretty good. The ending I thought was a little safe to say the least. It really wasn't like super. I don't know. It wasn't super twisting, or it didn't really feel like ending. It was kind of just like, all right, well, that's it. Our work here is done. But it didn't feel as climatic. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of felt like, okay, y'all defeated it. There was kind of this part of the story that lingered over most of the season of whether this was going to happen to this character, and then it ended up happening. But you kind of could see that it was going to happen. So I don't know. Like the ending was a bit weak in my opinion, but I still had a good time. It's Stranger Things. And that's pretty much it for the week recap, man. But let's get into it. I don't got many topics for today. It's a chill week for me. Just in terms of topics. For me, sometimes I don't try to give an extensive like topic list, especially because, bro, I be tired when I get off work, bro. So if I had like 15 topics on the board, it would be like, ugh, this is gonna feel like homework. But right now, I'm just trying to just get y'all a good show. So I got some good topics. We got some music. We got some NFL. And that'll be pretty much it, bro. That'll be pretty much it. So first, big news that came out after we recorded last episode is Don Toliver is dropping an album. He is dropping Octane. It comes out on January 30th. And if you know me, you know I fuck with Don Toliver. I've been in the Don Toliver fan club for like at least 7 years. So I'm super hyped for this album. The sound of it. I've been trying to keep away from the snippets. Like some of the snippets I've heard was kind of like shit that was kind of lingering around for a hot minute even before he announced the album was coming out on January 30th. But I definitely for sure I've been trying to just keep my ears away from things that's confirmed on there. I did hear ATM, which was like a single, and I thought that joint was fire. That joint was heat. So I'm excited for Don, man. I kind of was, I remember at the top of the year I had Don on the anticipated albums of 2026 list for me. And, this is a good start to the year, man. A$AP Rocky, I think, really kicked things in gear for the start of the year to get Don this Friday and then get Cole next Friday. Man, it's going to be a good week. We're going to be eating for a second. So I have high expectations, but I think Don's going to deliver. He dropped 5 albums, including, the deluxes to Love Sick and Hearthstone Psycho. And he hasn't missed, bro. He hasn't missed. I think it sounds like he's in a different bag, but I think, I just don't think he's capable of missing, bro. He's been cranking the whole time I've been listening to him. So, yeah, I'm excited. Is there any features I'm looking forward to? I'm pretty sure this is his last album on Cactus Jack, so I think we're going to get some Fago. I think we definitely going to get some Travis Scott. I don't know if there's any features specifically I really am looking for with Don. Maybe Cali. I think we always love a good Cali and Don collab. I think Yeet has the potential to be on there. Maybe Shaq West. I'm kind of cool off of Shaq West, but I mean, if he's on there, he's on there. Cool. I'm not going to be too mad. It may be Future. I wouldn't mind another Don Toliver and Future track. Producers, I would love Cardo Got Wings. I think whenever him and Cardo link up, it's heat. Him and Wonder Girl, I think would be good. Him and Mike Dean, him and Metro. I think those would be good. I think I could hear like maybe some Mike Will made it. You know what I'm saying? So I am curious to see what he's going to do. You know what I'm saying? I kind of hear that he was kind of saying like, hey, after I drop this album, I'm gonna sit down for a bit. You know what I mean? And I respect it, bro. Since Can't Say came out and Donnie Womack and everything like that, this dude's kind of dropped at least every other year. You know what I mean? 5 albums in 8 years. Well, now 6 because we're in 2026 and he's dropping another one. That's 6 albums in 8 years. And I just feel like that's a good workload for him. I feel like me being a fan and me always kind of being excited for new Don Toliver music, I can say I don't really feel like I have this humongous gap in albums. Like, I'm a Kendrick fan, and so like I'm so, you know, used to like him. Okay, it's probably going to be what, 2-3 years maybe, and that's on the good spectrum of when he dropped. Because I mean, I've waited 5 years before for Kendrick. You know what I mean? So, Don, like I said, every other year, maybe 1 year after another, consecutive years. But I'm excited for it, man. I think, if he wants to go chill for a year or two or however long, this so-called, break is going to be, I think he's earned it. You know what I mean? I think this is also the last time I'm on Cactus Jack. So a lot of it is going to probably be, having to sit down and figure out what's your next steps as independent or where you're going to go next. And, you probably are going to have to sit down for a bit, until you figure that out. So definitely excited for it, man. I think this album's going to be fire. I can't wait to give y'all a review for that joint next week. So I thought, since, Don about to drop, I thought it would be fire if we just did a little ranking of Don Toliver albums, bro. I thought this would be dope to do because I've listened to every single one. So I'm like, all right, bet. Let's rank them. Because I think I've always tried to make a list of his albums, but I never feel like I'd be sold on it. So now I'm like going to force myself to be like, hey, this is my list. So we're going to go from worst to best. So starting off at the worst. I don't think this song is I don't think this album is like bad, but to me, it's my least favorite out of all of them. And I'm going to say Donnie Womack, bro. Donnie Womack is probably at the bottom of me. It has so many great songs. Run Up, Talk No More, Mamma Mia, Bang Bang, Too Little Shorty. Like, there's some great tracks on here. But I do feel like it's an early Don that still, he's still like not, I feel like his sound wasn't as developed yet. I feel like, vocally, he wasn't all the way there to what he ended up becoming. And I just feel like out of all the sounds he tries on all his albums, I feel like it's not my favorite, just because it does still feel like a work in progress. But I think I could hear the talent with it, and I think that's why I do enjoy the album so much. Like this, like I said, the songs I just listed, I go back to them all the time. But, probably just not my favorite one. I would say right above that one, I'm going to go Hearthstone Psycho, bro. I re-listened to Hearthstone Psycho again today, and I feel like why I would say it's better than Donnie Womack is that I think that the highs on Hearthstone Psycho is better. Like a Toe Up, I think that is crazy. Glock, 5 to 10, Ice Age, Attitude, Bandit, of course. Those songs are like peak, in terms of like the album, like the best songs on the album. But I think that the reason why it's probably in fourth place is just because I think those middle songs that kind of round out the album, the Brother Stones, the new drops and everything like that, those songs to me are okay. They're not the best. And I think that even the deluxe tracks, they were cool, but the deluxe tracks really for me like didn't add too much. I think that it was kind of like, oh, these are 4 extra songs that we just didn't get. And I like the geeked up one with him and Yeet, and I also like the one with him and Lil Uzi. But yeah, Hearthstone Psycho is a good album, but I feel like it doesn't have the longevity of how much I listen to it like the other 3. Number 3 is Life of a Don. I feel like this might surprise people, because I feel like people are really, really high on Life of a Don. And I do think Life of a Don is amazing. You know what I'm saying? I think the sound he did on that album I think it was kind of more R&B on there with songs like Double Standards, Swinging on Westheimer, 5 Times, Company. It had a very dark, melodic R&B sound to it. Whatever You Need, that's another one. Drugs and Hella Melodies. I feel like that's the sound that like Don does really, really well. And then you kind of mix in some of the trap shit with like Smoke, Bogus, Flocky. I would just say with that one, compared to the other 2 that I haven't mentioned yet, I think it's kind of those tracks that's kind of like in the middle that, compared to the best songs, there's kind of like the second tier of tracks on there. And I don't love them as much. Like, I'm not a huge fan of like Get Throwed or 2 a.m. or even like an Outer Space. Like, it doesn't really get many spins for me. It's not that they're bad. It's just like those ones that's kind of there. Kind of like I can live without those. And then I have all these other heat ones. But the next one above Life of a Don, which would be number 2, is Lovesick. I ain't gonna lie, Lovesick is heat. You know what I mean? I think the peak on there is really, really good. I think some of the best songs when you talk about like A Private Landing, Bus Stop, even when you include the deluxe tracks, No Hands. I mean, no hands, no pole. Freaking Luckily I'm Having. Like, those songs are really good, and I think that it's kind of like a pop album to me. Like, I listen to it and I'm like, this kind of feels like Don on kind of like a poppier type of joint where it's not pop music, but the melodics it's way more melodic in terms of the brightness of the production and stuff like that. And yeah, it's more like sultry in terms of the sound. So I kind of did enjoy it. I actually kind of like the aesthetic of it a lot. And I really feel like it really fit him really well. And those kind of, like I said, those second tier tracks where it's kind of like these are songs that kind of just round out the track list, like If I Had with Charlie Wilson, The Leather Code, Company Part 3. Those songs that's kind of like rounding out the track list. I do feel like they're better than like what I would say for like Life of a Dawn, where I kind of have to throw in like a Outer Space, a Get Throw to 2 a.m. It's kind of like, was kind of like the next tier below my favorite tracks that kind of just round out. I like those ones better than I do Life of a Dawn. So that's why I say Lovesick is number 2. And number 1, bruh, Heaven or Hell, bruh. I think that is damn near perfection, bruh. His biggest hits to me are on there. The songs that really, really put him in that new tier. The No Idea, The Cardigans, The After Party, Had Enough. I love Wasted. I think Wasted is up there. Euphoria. There's another one, Can't Feel My Legs. Like, that is peak Don. I think that is the best sound he's done. It was dark at times. It really felt like rodeo to me. It just felt like he hit the nail on so many sounds on there. And every track to me just goes, bro. And also just nostalgia, bro. Like, that was my album of the year when it came out in 2020. You couldn't tell me there was an album that was better than Heaven or Hell when it came out. So, yeah, that was fun, man. Shout out to Don, bro. I really can't wait to listen to this joint because I just know it's going to be heat. I just know it's going to be heat. All right, bet. Next topic we got J. Cole, bro. J. Cole, bro. Jermaine Cole, bro. He just dropped 4 new freestyles, and he addressed a lot. I don't even really want to like address every single thing that he addressed, but yeah, I listened to all 4. I thought these freestyles, man, he went crazy. He went absolutely crazy. He rapped his ass off on all 4 of them. If I had to pick a favorite out of them, I love that Bronx Zoo one, that very first one. I also like the Golden Goose one. I thought those 2 to me, I felt like I really liked his flows on there. I love the rhyme schemes. I love the bars. It was really elite rapping from him. And I was talking to my homies about it. Like I said, I got like a music group chat I sit in with some of my homies. And I really was sitting there like, damn, bro. Like, this is the best I've heard Cole rapping in years. You know what I'm saying? Like, probably ever. You know what I mean? It feels like what I kind of was saying about how it feels like he's kind of competing against himself. Like, I want to get better. Like, this fall off idea is really him just showing himself that he is so much of a better rapper than what he once was, and it's just him at his best. And I think you're hearing it. I really do think you're hearing him at his absolute best, from these 4 freestyles to the music video he dropped. I think it was like track 2, disc 2 or something like that, where he kind of rapped about his life in reverse. He's really killing this shit. I can't even sit here and lie. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the biggest J. Cole fan in the world in terms of like how I know a lot of his fans ride for him. That's not really me with Cole. But I mean, I can't deny heat. You know what I'm saying? I can't deny heat in bars. He's going crazy. You know what I mean? And it really has got me more excited for this Fall Off album, because I think I was genuinely just curious about it. Like, he's been talking a lot about it, but the more I listen to him rap and the more I'm hearing him talk the way he's talking, the more I'm like, okay, I'm seeing where he's going with this, and I am excited. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think that Cole is capable of pushing his pen to the absolute limit, and the bars on the other end come out historic. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I think Fall Off could be, in terms of just rapping, could be one of the better albums we've heard this decade. I really do believe that. You know what I'm saying? People can talk about the apology and the big three shit all they want, but I think there's a potential you're going to hear some elite rapping that is really going to push pens, and I'm excited to hear it. My only critique about all this stuff, and I think it's just being on social media a lot, is I think with everything going on, especially with the beef, it's going to be hard for J. Cole to ever really. Whenever J. Cole raps the way he raps, especially when he's talking shit, and he's kind of like, I'm the best for real, or, these niggas can't fuck with me, he's really talking shit. A lot of people really don't like it because of the apology thing. And I think while I understand, you know what I mean, especially as somebody who rooted for Kendrick, the main thing I feel like it kind of is causing this disconnect is, I think, is Cole fans, and I think Cole plays into it too, there's like this weird superlative that they just want to give Cole. And it's like, we can't be like, well, he's the best out the big three, because when it was time to show it, he backed out. Like, we can't just ignore that. But it does kind of feel like there's kind of like this asterisk we kind of give Cole, that his fans give him, where it's kind of like, man, Cole is the best rapper skill-wise or pen-wise or technically, right? Like, yeah, we know he backed out the beef, so, we'll give it to Kendrick. But, I think nobody's rapping better than him. And I feel like for me, it kind of just kills whatever momentum you kind of could give Cole, because it's like, I really don't want to hear that shit. I ain't going to hold you. Like, because for one, I just don't even agree. Like, I don't really even agree with that notion that Cole is just, as a technical rapper, better than Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? I just don't believe that. Like, I've heard Kendrick bar shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just had Chains of Whips last year, and that was technicality and skill wise, that was elite. You could argue he out rapped both of them niggas on the track. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like, to me, it's not like this super big deal. But I feel like when his fans do it, it just causes this uproar, because it's easily able to be shut down by, well, if you think he's so nice, why did he back out? You know what I'm saying? So there's not a lot of superlatives we want to give Cole, but I think the superlative you damn sure are going to give him, even for people like me who are Kendrick fans or just fans of hip hop, we just are like, well, we're not going to get this nigga the superlative of that if we don't believe it. And when it was time for him to prove that what you're saying, he didn't give it to us. So for me, I'm just trying to do better at just being like, you know what, I don't really care about putting him in the big three or comparing him against the big three, because I don't even think that's what Cole wants anymore. I think that's what he's trying to get away from. He don't want to always keep getting brought up with these other two niggas, because that's not what he wants no more. He recognizes that the more peaceful path, the path he wants to take, is to be separated from those two niggas and just be like, judge me based on what I'm doing. And I think when you do that, you get elite raps. You get some of the craziest freestyle bars I've heard in a minute. I ain't gonna lie, he went crazy, bro. Like, he went absolutely crazy. Every freestyle was dope to me. So for me, I'm not going to take Cole's shit talking attributes away and say you can't say that no more. He's a rapper, bro. He's been rapping for decades. A part of being a rapper is talking your shit and flexing and shit. So even if we don't take it as seriously as we once was, where it was kind of like what he was kind of saying, like, if anybody dare pop out on me, it's over. You know what I mean? Yeah, we probably don't want to, like, maybe we don't believe it with the same thing that we maybe once did before. But I also am not going to be like, oh well, he's a rapper. He's not a rapper anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he can still talk about that shit. I really don't care. He just has to navigate the conversation over being compared with the other two. Move off from that, bro. Like, you rapping to prove that this is you at your best. Let the work speak, and you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what he's trying to do. But when you have to bring up the other two, it dilutes whatever he's doing, because now there's this, well, we know what he did. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to get past that, bro. We got to get past that and just judge Cole for what he's doing now. And what he's doing now is fire. What he's doing now is fire. Like, let him rock out. Let him rock out. But I think both of those, all four of them were fire. I'm excited for the fall off. I feel like this album finna be long as hell, though. You know what I'm saying? I saw double discs, and if he gonna be barring up like that, that album gonna be damn near like an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? So, me and Chris gonna have to buckle up and toughen through that 2-hour track. I don't know how we gonna do it, but we gonna try. All right. I got like 2 more topics for y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all up for too much longer. Mike McCarthy getting hired to the Steelers. Let's talk about it, bro. That was a interesting hire. I really didn't like it, because I just feel like we wasted a good chance, bro. We wasted a good opportunity to I think get a younger mind in there with fresh ideas, with just a new philosophy that I think we haven't seen in Pittsburgh in a long, long time. And I feel like they just got the white version of Mike Tomlin, who's worse. You know what I mean? Instead of Mike Tomlin, got Mike McCarthy. You know what I mean? There's really nothing redeeming about this hire to me. I just feel like it just keeps us in mid hell. You know what I'm saying? Where we're just a mid team, and we're not going to be able to rebuild the way that we should in order to get back into competition for a legitimate shot at the championship. You know what I mean? The last time I seen Mike McCarthy coach, he had Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? And he did okay, but you're not going into the situation with Dak Prescott. Whatever QB Pittsburgh has next year is going to be significantly worse than Dak Prescott. Am I really believing that Mike McCarthy is going to turn that around? Absolutely not. Every hire that I've seen, they hire some D coordinator, or they were thinking about hiring this D coordinator, and they were like, yeah, he was on the Raiders last year. And I was like, yo, the Raiders was trash. I'm like, why the fuck we want this nigga? It's just like, I don't know what Pittsburgh is doing. And I think it's really frustrating, because it's like almost the complete opposite of what the fans wanted. It was like, we want a younger coach, offensive minded, with fresh ideas. And they say, okay, we're going to go older and outdated philosophy. What the fuck? Like, why did we do that? Like, I just don't get it, And then I kind of read some people's theories about why they went with McCarthy. Was this idea that he was going to bring in a young offensive coordinator. Mike McCarthy will rock out for 2-3 years and then probably get let go, and they're going to promote the young offensive coordinator to the head coach. To me, I think that's dumb, because it's like, so we just wasted 2-3 years. You know what I mean? Like, that's 2-3 years of culture building, of rebuilding the team that we're missing out on, just to give Mike McCarthy a shot, and all for what? Because he used to live in Pittsburgh. Like, I'm not saying that there's a 0% chance that he would do well. I'm just saying I don't think it's high, because his track record to me hasn't proven anything. And then I think there's this idea that, oh, well, if you bring in McCarthy, it would increase the odds that Aaron Rodgers comes back. And I'm just like, well, I don't really want that nigga back, to be honest. Like, no offense. Like, yeah, A-Rod played well. You know what I mean? He was, I think not as huge of a problem as some other things. But I do think that his age and lack of athletic mobility hindered the offense. He couldn't move. We had to keep throwing quick ass passes and trying to get our yards off of Yak rather than A-Rod's ability to extend plays. He can't do it no more. You know what I mean? He can't run like he used to. So there's a clear limitation on Aaron Rodgers at the QB. Why do we want him back? I don't really get it. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather let Will Howard rock out, to be honest. Because if he goes out there and maybe he's potentially all right, maybe there's something that could be built around and you just keep building the team. And if he sucks, all right, well, we're going to get a good draft pick. I just don't really feel like all the scenarios in which Pittsburgh was kind of, as Steelers fans, we were looking at it and being like, okay, well, here we are. We had accepted that we're probably going to be some trash. We had already thought that. You know what I mean? Like, we already had the propensity, like, we finna be trash. So I don't know why it just was like we just went to a direction that it feels like it keeps us in the same spot. And I feel like that, to me, is Pittsburgh's lack of commitment to a rebuild. Is being stuck in their ways of saying, well, we're going to compete year in and year out. And I'm like, that's probably the worst option we could do right now. Like, it really is, especially when we haven't won a playoff game in 10 years and never held a lead in them and get blown out. Like at some point, it's like, all right, this is kind of old. So I really don't know. I'm not really looking forward to it. But what we finna do? You know what I mean? Like, I can't hit free agency. So, but I thought about it. When I seen that came across, I damn near threw my phone, bro. I was like, Mike McCarthy. And something told me when I seen we got an interview with him, I was like, they gonna hire this nigga. Something told me they finna hire this nigga because they interviewing him. Because he was on nobody's radar, bro. He was on nobody's radar. Nobody was like, hey, yo, Mike, you want to coach the Giants? Nobody said that. Nobody in the Giants, nobody in the Ravens said, oh, we need Mike McCarthy to get over the hump. And I don't really see him doing it in Pittsburgh. I don't think he's a get you over the hump coach. He's just not. But, hey, man, that's Pittsburgh for you. All right. The conference championship game, I'm going to save my Super Bowl pick for next week. But the AFC championship game, not really much to talk about. I will say, like, if Bo Nix hadn't hurt his ankle, bruh, I think the Broncos come out that game victors, because I was not impressed with Drake May, bruh. He did not play that well. He has not played well all playoffs, but he's had a pretty lucky route. You know what I mean? His defense has kind of been the saving grace, and he's just had to do just not bad enough to lose. I mean, the Texans, CJ Stroud threw damn near 5 interceptions. Justin Herbert's offensive line is dog shit, and the Broncos had a backup QB in. So for me, he's been literally asked to do, I think, below the bare minimum to get the job done. So whatever team comes out, so prior to the NFC Championship game, I'm like, well, whatever team comes out the NFC, this is probably the matchup they probably would prefer anyway. If Bo Nix didn't get hurt. So yeah, best of luck to him. I hope he has a better Super Bowl performance, but if you play bad the first 3 rounds, I don't know if I'm putting my money on it that you finna figure it out on a Super Bowl Sunday. That's a tall task. But shout out to the Patriots. I'm happy Stephon Diggs, Maryland guys going to play in the Super Bowl. So, we'll see. The Patriots are an interesting team, that's for sure. But Mike Vrabel has turned it around. I know a lot of people are like, man, the Patriots about to do it again. I wouldn't be too sure that this is a new dynasty. I'll be honest on that. I wouldn't, put too much stock in that this is the new dynasty. At least from what I've seen, I'm not too moved. And Seahawks versus Rams, what a game. Another great game. It seems like Matt Stafford's like one of the only QBs I feel like really just eat up on Seattle, because for the most part, I don't really see the Seattle defense get gashed like that. until they play Matt Stafford and Puka. But Sam Darnold, bro, what did I tell y'all about my man Sam? What did I tell you about my man Sam, bro? I told y'all, I feel like the more he kept playing in big games and he started winning them, it was helping his confidence out. Now when he actually has to go out there and throw the ball, 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards, no picks, and you win the game, you can't ask for more from Sam Darnold, bro. I'm so happy for bro. He has such a great story of just going to the Jets and them not handling or knowing how to develop a QB, and then him bouncing around and learning and getting more information so that when his real chance came with a solid team and everything that he needs to be successful happens, and you get 14 wins, but, you know, they start to question whether you can win the big game, so they let you go to another situation and win 14 games again, and now playing the Super Bowl. I got to tip my hat off to bruh. That's fire. JSN, he played like a superstar. You know, Seattle's dangerous, bro. That's a great team. I've been saying it all year. And shout out to the Rams, tough one. Like I said, Matt Stafford, he balled out. All those guys balled out. Puka, Devontae, they all balled out. The 2 running backs, they went crazy. You know what I mean? I was rooting for Stafford a little bit because I do feel like if Stafford got another ring, I feel like the conversations we'll be able to have him, it would be a lot different. You know what I mean? I feel like the 1 ring, it definitely got his respect, where it's like, okay, you know, this dude's I don't know what range QB people will put him in, but I really felt like if he had won the Super Bowl, I feel like we would be talking about him at least top 12 all time. I really do think that. I think the numbers are there when he's had a formidable team. He's got the job done. When he's had a good team with decent help, he's been successful to an extent. So I just really feel like it would have been dope to see him get one more. I really feel like he would have done a lot for his legacy because I am a Matt Stafford fan. But yeah, man, great football weekend. It was a great football weekend. That NFC game, that was tough. I'm not really gonna watch much Pro Bowl shit. I feel like the NFL is just, the Pro Bowl is just dying for me more and more every year, to where I don't even really watch the flag football or the dodgeball. I'm just like, yo, that's probably for more the young. That's probably more for the young niggas out there, because I really could give a fuck about it personally. And the same thing might happen with the NBA All-Star. You know what I mean? You know, if they don't, you know, if those guys don't play for real in the NBA All-Star, I think, you know, we getting closer and closer to that shit being some bullshit too. So, you know, we'll see what they do this year, but I ain't too hopeful. All right, last topic, man, just a quick music rec of the week. I got Olivia Dean, bro. I started cranking her. The Man I Need, bro. That's the song I like right there, bro. What other joint I like from her? I like So Easy to Fall in Love. I really just cranked her most popular joints, and her most popular songs to me are all really good. So yeah, man, if y'all in the mood for some kind of pop music, bro, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get more into different genres and shit, but I heard she, you know what I'm saying? I heard some good things about it, so then I checked it out, and she was cranking, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Olivia Dean, bro. Go ahead and check her out. Get some crank. And yeah, man. That is it for this episode. Episode 10, bro. Episode 10. We made it to 10. Next week gonna be 11. I'm gonna have some fire topics. We're gonna have a Dawn review. We're gonna get some shit going for next week. But until then, man, I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Make sure to rate this show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure to drop a follow on some of the pages and the link down below on the social media at that Xboy Xdane. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.